What's going on, guys? In this video I'm going to talk about Bitcoin. We are nearly 4% away from new all-time highs, and we're also going to talk about Ethereum. Supply on exchanges is at a 6-year low. Let's not waste any time, guys. First off, let's talk about these potential liquidations. If Bitcoin rises above 72,000, we might see a lot of short liquidations. And I'll leave this article down below for you, along with some links to some free stocks, free cryptos. I'm also going to be talking about a meme coin in a minute, and you can check it out with one of the links down below. But this article says $72,000 is the fuse to reach new all-time highs, because Bitcoin going above 72,000 could liquidate over $800 million worth of leveraged shorts. And this article believes that if we could break over 72,000, it would act as a fuse, which would trigger the breakthrough of a $75,000 Bitcoin. Willy Woo says hitting 72,000 would spark a wave of mass liquidations, paving the way to new all-time highs. Now, above the 72,500 mark, Bitcoin would trigger the liquidation of $1.2 billion worth of leveraged shorts. And you guys might remember words on the Bitcoin danger zone, this zone that Bitcoin gets in after the halving. Well, the post-halving distribution danger zone ended on May 6th when Bitcoin rose above the reaccumulation range of 60,000. According to Rect Capital. And Bitcoin's price has risen over 12.5% since May 6th, confirming the end of this post-halving danger zone. And Bitcoin still needs to break this 72,000 resistance, flip it into support before we can enter that parabolic phase, according to Rect Capital. Also, Bitcoin ETFs are in focus as Bitcoin reaches 2-week highs. And a popular trader named Skew said basically that the US spot Bitcoin ETFs had helped boost this bullish momentum. And on June 4, we saw so much inflows. We saw nearly $900 million worth of net inflows. And just look at that. None of these funds posted any outflows. There was a few with no flows. But in general, you see very nice inflows. We did see a rather large outflow from ARKB back at the end of May. And then from time to time, we still see Grayscale posting some outflows, although they have been posting inflows as well, which is a huge positive. And as many of you know, BlackRock did finally pass GBTC. The large spot Bitcoin ETF known as Grayscale is getting smaller and smaller. That selling pressure is dwindling. You're now starting to see inflows from them, while IBIT finally surpassed them. IBIT is getting larger and larger. This is a fund that's known for very consistent inflows. They saw something like 72 consecutive days of inflows since launch. That record was finally broken recently. But you know, overall, these inflows from these spot Bitcoin ETFs, this is a huge positive for Bitcoin. We're going to continue to see overall inflows throughout the rest of this year. And in my eyes, we're still in the middle of the bull run. We're definitely not in the early phases no more. I would say we are somewhere in the middle, towards the back half of the bull run possibly. But moving right along, we're looking at 2 potential resistance points for Bitcoin. First off, let me tell you guys that we are under 4%. We are under a 4% move away from new all-time highs. We could very well see new all-time highs this week. It would not be in the least bit surprising. We do have 2 potential resistance points. Just a hair under 72,000, this roughly 71,850 or so. We have found it as a resistance a few times. I think a break out of this area would be wonderful. Getting a daily candle to close out of it would be great. But you know, the big level to break, this is the previous all-time high. This is the roughly $74,000 or so. We're only about 4% away from breaking out of this. I do think Bitcoin is going to break its all-time highs, and this could be where the miners really start running. Now, some of you might be looking at the RSI saying, okay, it's getting towards overbought. Maybe I should be cautious. Well, think about this. Let's look at last time the RSI was at this level. Right around this point here, 19th of October, we're right around the same RSI, right towards overbought, just a hair under overbought, just like we are here. What happened? Well, if you thought we were overbought and due to cool down here, you would have missed this huge run all the way where we topped out at about $50,000 nearly, about a 70% gain. And this is from when Bitcoin was just right at overbought, just starting to be overbought. So, you know, don't let that RSI fool you. Keep in mind, things can definitely keep moving. Things can get to, you know, vastly overbought levels. I wouldn't even be worrying about that RSI yet. And if that's not good enough for you, let me show you another example here. When the RSI was at a very similar level, right around here, you know, February 7, February 8, I'd say we're at about the same RSI if you look at that. What did we do? Well, we went from about 42,000 and we went on to continue. Actually, we went on to create new all-time highs. Had about a 70% move, even with an RSI at that level. So when things start moving up a little higher, when you see this RSI flashing overbought, don't let that fool you. Don't let that trick you out of your Bitcoin. Let me just remind you guys what we always have seen on the monthly. We have always seen an RSI in the monthly get to at least 90. Our RSI topped out a little under 80. Every past halving, we have seen the RSI get to a little over 90 and is on the monthly chart. I would say we definitely have some more room to run throughout the rest of this year, maybe early 2025, before it's time to take profits, before it's time to prepare for crypto winter. To me, things are still looking great for Bitcoin. Despite the RSI where it's at, I do believe we have a whole ton of room to run. It's really a matter of just getting that momentum, breaking those all-time highs. And before you know it, we'll see 75,000, 80,000, and we will have a nice altcoin season soon after. Speaking of altcoins, one altcoin I've been getting into here is Crow with Knife. You can get this on the crypto.com exchange. I have it down below if you want to check it out. This is a very, very small market cap. We're talking about a 50-something million market cap. Very, very, very small. I would be cautious on a day like this when it's up 18%. Look for a decent pullback. They are volatile. There are going to be rip days. There are going to be dip days. Overall, it still has some moving to do to get back to its all-time highs. Back in late April here, it was 0.00000000014. Now it's 0.000000743. I do believe throughout the rest of this year, Crow with Knife is going to work to create new all-time highs. It is going to take out its previous all-time highs. We're starting to see momentum enter here. Once the meme coins really get ripping, once the altcoins have their alt season, it'll probably take a little while longer, but this is the time to be entering these coins. This is the time to be taking that speculative little gamble. Keep in mind, this is speculative. It is high risk. These are, in the end, meme coins. They basically have no utility. But I do like Crow with Knife. I do think good things are going to come to it. I do think this is going to be crypto.com's one of their main meme coins on their whole ecosystem. And like I said, link down below if you do want to check it out. All right, now one last article I want to talk about. Spot Ethereum ETFs will legitimize crypto, lead to an ETH supply crunch. Check this out. This crypto entrepreneur, Oliver Isaacs, revealed that more than $3 billion worth of ETH has left exchanges since the SEC approved spot ETH approvals on May 23. Weird wording there. Putting ETH exchange reserves at a 6-year low. ETH reserves are at a 6-year low. Also, about 25% of the ETH supply is currently staked. I could have sworn it was more than that. There's really not all that much to this article. The main point, the main cool thing I saw was that ETH supply is at a 6-year low. To me, that's a great sign. And Ethereum is under 10% from breaking recent highs. However, it's still a bit of a climb to break all-time highs to take out that 5,000 area. I do think it's a matter of time for Ethereum. I do think once these ETFs go live, if we see hype leading up to that, we might see a sell-off initially, and then similarly to Bitcoin, you know, we'll see that initial sell-off, then we'll see new all-time highs. We will see a nice rally from ETH. I do think now's the time to still accumulate ETH, to still take advantage of it. I won't be saying that about ETH, many of the cryptos, many of the Bitcoin miners. You know, a couple of months from now, I will probably be saying that I'm a seller. I will probably be saying it's time to take some profits. But let me know what you guys are watching out there. What altcoins are you picking up? Are you getting into the riskiest of the risky meme coins? Are you looking for coins with utility? Are you just sticking to Bitcoin? What Bitcoin miners have you been adding today? It is a bit of a mixed bag today. We have some miners doing pretty well, some miners pulling back a little bit. Really not a whole lot going with the miners today. But make no mistake, these are still the last chance opportunities to take advantage. It will likely be a very different story in late 2024, in early 2025. But let me know your plan on this cycle. When do you guys plan on selling everything? Are you going to keep a little portion and ride it cycle to cycle? Where do you guys see ETH going by end of year? And how do you think these spot ETH ETFs are going to affect Ethereum? Thanks as always for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.